everybody, it's your boy the Kryptonian C in here bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 647. Oh man, okay, I have to talk about this. I'm so disappointed. I love the chapter. I love the chapter. I will say that. I do love the chapter, but I'm disappointed. And the reason why I'm disappointed is Noah was not destroyed. I don't like that. I don't like that. I get it. Luffy don't kill, and by destroying Noah, he would symbolically be killing Fishman Island. But this is the thing. That island represents too much of what is wrong. They need a fresh start. And Luffy was so determined that his body was giving out on him. That is foreshadowing. Even the Neptunians, when they look at it, they say, my, what a human he is. What a mighty little human. If we had been a moment later, the island would be safe, but Noah would have been dashed to pieces. So Luffy could have did it, which is an incredible strength feat given the sheer size of that ship. The amount of force he had to be putting out was insane. But, excuse me, but on the same token, the fact that that happens right after you get the whole thing with the reference to Joy Boy and the promise. Is this promise something to do with the Neptunians? I know, like, you got the prophecy that has to deal with Shirahoshi and the whole thing about her being able to control the Neptunians, which is why Hody Jones and Van Decken were just scared shitless of her. I totally get it, and I like the explanation when they said, like, yeah, he guided you. There's a reference to that prophecy, but at the same time, you want to be strength to serve him, and that just shows that, you know, even the weakest of characters, they can be valuable in some ways. Strength isn't always about physical power. Sometimes it's about being able to see a situation and want to do the right thing. It takes real strength in order to do it. It takes strength to realize how helpless you are, which is why Shirahoshi just crying in the way that she did. She summons the Neptunians, and it was actually her tears that ended up saving the day. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I'm also okay with the fact that Oda didn't have Luffy blow up the ship and destroy the island. I get it. I get it. Everyone was cheering. You had the people running away. But in a classic callback to Skypiea, right? Was it Skypiea? No, it wasn't Skypiea. It was, because that's when Anel was having the countdown. And a classic callback to Thriller Bark where the Straw Hats had their shadow stolen. The sunlight was coming up and they were just all sitting there. And they're like, okay, if Luffy can't win, guess we turn into dust. We'll wait and see where this is going. And that's when you got Luffy opening up a can of whip ass on Moria, doing some Stone Cold Steve Austin stuff, busting up the beer cans, chugging them shits back, doing the DX suck it sign, doing everything to Moria in order to win. So I like what I saw there, okay? How Oda just not creep, but slipped that in there, because that's basically Oda saying Straw Hats been apart for several years, but one thing that has not changed is their trust that Luffy is going to be able to pull it out in the end. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like that. It just shows that despite the distance, in some ways, it's probably their faith in Luffy's probably grown even stronger. So I like that. And I think the fact that so many of the Straw Hats, just like Shirahoshi, which this is what I tell people, right? This is what I tell people. I've made a couple of friends of mine sick, right? Because I got two friends who they held off on One Piece, or they're holding off on One Piece the same way I have. And one of the things I tell them is like, hey man, Oda pulls some crazy shit. Like every chapter, when you read it, especially in the way that I am, where every volume has its own theme, but when you look at the chapters, every chapter, for the most part, they all run together, but at the same time, the themes in each chapter builds on each other. And you got small things like this. Like Shirahoshi wanted to be the source of strength for Luffy, to help him, to aid him, because she didn't want to see him suffer, didn't want to see him in pain, especially not for something that has to deal with her, right? Deal with her people. That's what the Straw Hats did. Like, that's what the Straw Hats went through, the whole precursor to this time skip. They were reading what happened with Marineford and how Luffy was going through so much, and even Usopp, when Usopp just got, you know, on his ass, he was like, ho ho ho, I can't do this shit. I gotta get stronger. I gotta get my shit together because I've been pigging out and Luffy needs me. I gotta get off this fucking island. Zoro went to Mihawk and trained with him. The person he's trying to surpass. Because he had to help Luffy. It's so much. It's so much of the same thing. So much of the same thing. So I love the fact that the parallels are there. The parallels are there. And it goes back to what I've been saying. Like, Luffy isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but the bonds and connections he forms with people, it makes people want to help him. That's a theme that's constantly been running through in the series. But just to see everything tie together like this in a chapter where it truly felt like this was going to be it. Luffy was going to destroy Noah. He was going to do it. The build-up was there, and Oda stopped it for a reason. He stopped it for a reason. I think it's because that Joy Boy shit. But this is my thing, right? I trust Oda. I trust Oda. I still critique. It's the same thing that I like to do with LeBron James and Kevin Durant. I can appreciate greatness, right? But like when Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, right? When Kevin Durant joined, one of the things I said was like, man, this dude is really, really fucking talented. That's why this upcoming season is about to be so fucking crazy. It's just about to be so crazy because I gotta see if they can repeat this shit. But this is my thing, right? This is my thing. I criticize Kevin Durant because I'm like, man, you're a great scorer. You can get a shot anywhere. You're going to an offense where the ball's always moving. But dude, why would you do this? It's your right to do it. I trust you're making the right choice. I trust you know that this is probably best for your legacy. You got to learn in the way that LeBron had to learn, the way that Kobe had to learn how to win. But at the same time, I'm disappointed. It's the same thing here. I know Oda has a reason for this. But, and again, it might be because I'm reading this as a minority. And so when I see so much taken in, and so much that I can relate to, maybe I'm putting myself in there. I was totally thinking that Oda was building Luffy up to destroy Noah's ship, destroy Fishman Island in some type of way. And it's so poetic when you look at it from that perspective, because Whitebeard was the one who liberated, Fishman Island when they're basically being pillaged and having all the fishmen and mermaids sold off and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whitebeard came in and said, yeah, I shared a drink with my good friend Neptune. This island's under my protection now. Buzz the fuck off. But because Whitebeard had so many other islands to look for and to take care of, he couldn't really focus on that. Luffy just shows up and says, yeah, I don't like the way this shit looks. I don't like all this, drama and everything. So Hody Jones, I kick his ass. Vanderdecken, I kick his ass too. He was picking on Wimpy Hoshi. I call her Shirahoshi now because, she's grown up a little bit. She's gotten a backbone, Fuck that. Fuck that. Luffy was that determined. And one of the things he says is like, okay, I can rest easy now. That's a good thing. Everyone's safe. He was gonna destroy that fucking ship. And I have it in my head, if he would have destroyed that ship, the next thing is like, yeah, like Shirahoshi, like, hey, she's part of the crew now. Like, she can stay here on the island. She's part of the crew. I don't like all this stuff that happened to her mom and everything. Y'all gotta get the fuck out of here. And Luffy would have burnt that shit down. Like, I'm standing by that, man, because, like, this is the thing with Oda. Oda don't drop subplots. Oda does not drop subplots. The fact that Luffy was specifically stated to be the destruction of Fishman Island, and she had the clear vision of him, and at the same time, when she is watching imminent danger befall Fishman Island, Noah's gonna crash. This is gonna be it. Luffy's going to destroy it, but if he doesn't, Fishman Island goes, And Charlie has that vision. Everything's in flames. Luffy's walking through. You see the person in the straw hat, similar build. That's a subplot. That is a subplot. That is a subplot. Oda's going somewhere with that. He's going, so I don't know where the fuck he's going with this. And because the way this dude writes, like, probably won't pop back up for like another 400 fucking chapters. This is like the ultimate tease right here. It's like the ultimate tease. Like, this is like getting some, and you know, I can say this because, you know, I know my demographics. So I know enough of you guys are, you know, mature enough that you can handle this. Like, this is like getting some really, really good pussy, and then she tells you like, hey, I'm not fucking with you no more. Like, this is just a one-time thing. It's like, fuck, that's some good pussy. That's what this is. That's what this is. Oda can't drop it here. Oda can't drop it here. I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be pissed off. I get it. Shirahoshi, she summoned, she fulfilled the prophecy. Everything's there. They can start to turn a new leaf. The new generation has, you know, seen the error of the previous generation's ways. Hody Jones, all the rest of them probably rounded up. I totally get it. You can't tease destroying Noah. You can't tease Fishman Island being destroyed and that prophecy and not go there. I won't call that bad writing because Oda has built up enough, and I would be a hypocrite because one of the things I've always said is that you have to judge, and this is the start of a new volume. I say you have to judge volume by volume, and then after the series ends, you have to go back arc by arc, and then you have to look at the series and say, how does all this run together? So by those standards, I can't just necessarily say this is utter garbage. The only time I do that is in the first 50 chapters. If I'm not hooked into a series, I drop it. If I make it past 100, I give the author that opportunity to tell the story because I've invested too much time. Because basically 100 chapters, if they just do a weekly release and they take Golden Week and everything off, then I've probably invested a little over 2 years of my time following your series, or yeah, a little more than 2 years following your series. Why not finish that shit? You know, because chances are you only got a few more volumes left anyway. So I mean, this is my thing. This is my thing. This cannot be a drop subplot. This cannot be a drop subplot. That would literally be like Zoro being named the greatest swordsman and he never gets his rematch with Mihawk. Like, it can't happen. So my chapter question to you guys is, how did you feel about Luffy not destroying that arc? If you can't tell, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I also understand I might be coming from a biased perspective. You know. But that's it for this review, guys. If you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys.